What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Watchverse. Today I'm going to be talking about CGI and specifically why it keeps getting worse. So this year especially, we've had a lot of films and TVs come out where CGI has yet again been the complaint, and this has been common since around sort of 2021. We've noticed this very strong decline in the quality of CGI, and it's really affecting how projects are received, because so many things seem so unbelievable, especially in a world where there's so much technology and software that can easily be used to create these digital backgrounds or digital landscapes or digital creatures. We should be watching shows and movies being far more immersed than we ever have before, and instead we're watching them going, that just looked crap. The problem mainly starts off from the fact of how reliant on CGI studios are becoming. They're cutting down on their filming costs by cutting the sets down, but then they're overworking VFX artists and getting left with these effects that just look unfinished and rushed and rubbish, and they just don't look great at all. They look really poor quality and they don't come across well on screen. The other issue is there's just way too much content coming in from different studios. I mean, we're getting blockbuster movies coming in constantly, but now along with that we have places like Netflix, Disney+, Amazon, Peacock, HBO, with these big blockbuster movies themselves for their own streaming services, and they require the CGI as well. And then along with that, we are currently in a huge age of premium television. These $250 million shows that require hundreds of VFX shots per episode, and you just wonder where the budget goes when you watch the show as it releases, because you're sitting there watching it and you're just thinking, the quality of the CGI is so bad. Where did this budget go to? You've got shows like Secret Invasion, which should be easy to have such solid CGI with a $200 million budget behind it, but the finale CGI is atrocious. And then you're sitting there watching it and you're just thinking, how is there constantly, time after time, this lack of CGI? Well, it relates back to what I've just spoke about. There is just way too much content and not enough VFX artists to be able to pull off all the required shots. The other issue behind that as well, coming from the studios, is the amount of reworks that they're being asked for. VFX artists are getting shots sort of half finished, and then studios are reworking shots sort of on the day that they're shooting them. So they could shoot the shot, get the VFX artists to pretty much get it finalised, and then 2 weeks later the shot's changed. I mean, for example, Quantumania was all ready to go, and a month before release they reshot the entire finale. That leaves VFX artists less than a month, really, to edit those shots, CGI them, and get them screen ready in about 4 weeks. That is so unrealistic to be able to pull off, and it's no wonder why they're constantly coming out complaining, saying that they're being overworked, the studio's demands unrealistic. It's because they are. But studios aren't realising what they're doing. You've got films like Doctor Strange 2, where they had 33 rewrites during production. And I'm sure somewhere in there were some shots that were CGI'd already that were removed. You've got things like Black Widow, that, not so much related to CGI, but David Harbour said they reworked the third act of that film while shooting. So any pre-made VFX or any pre-done things for the original script is completely useless, and all that time is wasted because they've changed the script as they're shooting it. It's just not a feasible strategy for them to continue with, and it's something that really does need to change in the future of films and television, because what we're currently sitting in is we're currently in a writers and actors strike, and I wouldn't be surprised if the second they end the VFX artist strike as well, because the way they've been treated in the last 2 years is quite frankly disgusting. There's been nothing done to help them or find a way to improve. In that same regard, then you've got films like Avatar, where Cameron took 13 years to develop this sequel, and when we get it, it's phenomenal, because it wasn't rushed. These big studios, these big corporate companies are rushing, overworking, stressing out their VFX artists. They are not getting the best, and they are just pumping out content, just to get money and just to expand their universes. The worst culprits for this are Star Wars and Marvel. They're constantly pumping stuff out to build their universe as quick as possible, but without taking the necessary steps to ensure the quality is there to actually maintain a fan base. A few directors have come out and said how Oppenheimer reminds people of the beauty of cinema, and how it reminds people that cinema is a work of art and not just content. And these studios are currently just making constant content, whereas some of the old superhero films used to be considered work of art in films. There are some beautiful shots in superhero films, and yet now they are just neglecting everything. They're neglecting the quality of all these shows just so they can pump out more and more shows and more films, just so they can earn back a bit of money to then pump into the next things that they're going to rush. I think basically what needs to happen is they need to slow down, reevaluate how necessary it is to use CGI, because practical definitely works. We saw it last Halloween with Man-Thing. He was practical, he looked great. There was loads of practical effects used in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that movie looked great. What they need to start doing is realising the strain that they're putting on the VFX artists. Slow down their productions, slow down how many things they're putting out in a year, and just get things back to where quality is strong. You look at things like Thanos, Davy Jones, these characters that you just watch and they look real. And now you look at characters like She-Hulk and you're just thinking, this looks in between an animated film and live action. We shouldn't be at a point like that in a day and age where there's so much technology and so much software to use. But hopefully we can start to see a change of it soon. That's all for my rant on CGI. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. Is there anything else that could be affecting this that I haven't mentioned? But that is all for today. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.